You know, there's nothing else to call this except for what it is, a tragedy. We first told you about this happening on Saturday. Police say Karan Blake was shot multiple times after a homeowner saw him allegedly breaking into cars. This happened Saturday at around 4 a.m. on Quincy Street and Michigan Avenue in Northeast. That's down the street from Brookland Middle School. Our Dio Gonzalez joins us live from that neighborhood tonight with the latest on this investigation. What are you learning, Dee?
You know, friends and family members, community members as well, came by this block and they didn't want to go on camera, but they did share with us that Karan Blake was loved and his life mattered. You can see that they left some flowers here in memory of that 13-year-old boy who lost his life Saturday morning here on this very block, the 1000 block of Quincy Street Northeast. Now, police say Blake was not armed, but the man who pulled the trigger lives in this very block. They say he's a registered gun owner and he was performing CPR on the boy, we're told, when police arrived. An outpouring of grief on social media for a mild-mannered middle schooler who just last week was gripping this book about peacemaker Gandhi. Sadly, 13-year-old Karan Blake was violently killed early Saturday morning, shot multiple times by a man only being identified as a homeowner in the 1000 block of Quincy Street Northeast.
If you feel that there is a public safety issue in or around your home, call 911. That is the appropriate thing to do.
But instead of calling 911, neighbors say after hearing noises, the homeowner stepped out of his house to confront the boy, who was allegedly breaking into cars. After some sort of confrontation, shots were fired.
We would rather be talking about a 13-year-old going to school today than to talk about him being killed on one of our streets. And I am incredibly saddened by that.
WUSA 9 has learned Blake had a troubled childhood, in and out of the care of Child and Family Services since the age of 6, according to a close teacher. In August 2021, D.C. police issued this missing persons flyer when then 11-year-old Blake disappeared from his Brookland neighborhood.
There are many, many kids, however, who are vulnerable, who are at risk, and who have already demonstrated that they will use guns and that they will commit crime. And so what I want everybody to know, in our city, we have programs and services for each of them.
Brookland school principals sent a letter home to families with resources for grief counseling and coping with trauma, saying in part, let us join in sending love and support to their family as they grieve this devastating loss. Back here live in Brookland, not only will the mayor have a meeting with school leaders Wednesday to talk about youth violence right there at Turkey Thicket, the rec center just right across the street. Tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, a community meeting held by Ward 5 council member Zachary Parker. He will talk to community members and stakeholders about this situation. He goes on to say that, quote, a car or material possession is not worth a life under any circumstances. The U.S. Attorney's Office still investigating this case. It's important to note, though, D.C. law says you can only use force for self-defense, and deadly force can only be used when someone is breaking into your home, not to protect your personal property. Les, Zoe, back to you.
Yeah, there are lots of things to pull apart from this story, but most certainly, as you mentioned, it is a tragedy, no matter how you take a look at it, Dee.